So that takes us to our first guest, who is a key player in the right's potential death match with Speaker McCarthy, Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida. He is back. He was under a cloud of suspicion. Everybody was writing him off. Didn't happen. And he is arguably more relevant than ever. My discussion with him is pushing us to the brink with a shutdown. I get why they're angry about spending. I get why they want change. I get why they see this as maybe their last best bit of leverage. But is it worth it if there's a shutdown with what it means to the rest of us? And the congressman joins us now. How you doing there, Congressman? Appreciate you being with us.
I'm good. I don't know why you said I'm on a comeback. I've always been here. You're the one on a comeback, man, and I'm glad to join you after a few years.
I am definitely, I don't know if I'm on a comeback, but I'm definitely getting up off the ground. But, you know, look, you had a lot of heat on you, and you said that it would pass, and it did. And that's the past I'm talking to you about right now. And this battle that you're waging against McCarthy. Let me just get one part of it out of the way. Do you think you'd be a better speaker than McCarthy? And is that part of this for you?
I have no interest in being speaker. I think almost anyone in Washington, D.C. that we threw a rock at would be a better speaker than Kevin McCarthy, but it's not a job I'm seeking or aspire to or would have any chance to obtain. We do have talented people in our conference who I think have broad respect across the varying factions and segments. And, of course, we've got people from urban and rural and suburban places, and we got to find a way to come together. I don't think the way we should come together is by lumping the disparate agencies of government together in one up or down vote. I've been here for 7 years, Chris, and during that entire time, our government has been run by either continuing resolution or omnibus. Matter of fact, we've been run that way since the mid-90s. I think we have to liberate ourselves from that system. We need single subject spending bills. We need to negotiate those in a bipartisan way in divided government in order to get them into law. But that will ensure that we have at least a fair paradigm in which to put downward pressure on spending.
Listen, conceptually, I get it. I think anything that you could do that would reduce profligate spending in the eyes of the Americans, things that are spent too much on things that matter too little, would be well met. But how you do it matters. You do not have the time to do what you want to do right now.
That's on purpose,
and you may well put us into shutdown. But if you do that, you know you are the face of the shutdown, and nobody likes that.
Listen, I want to be the face of returning this country to a fiscal path of sanity. And what I know is that this is not a bug of the system. It is a feature. They purposefully wait until the very end, and then they use shutdown politics to agree, to make the representatives agree to a framework in which you're just taking one up or down vote on everything from veterans to our troops to the Department of Education and the Department of Labor. That is not a serious way to do this. And the reason I know it is not a fantasy, it is not unreasonable to do single subject spending bills. That's exactly how most of our states operate. They set a top-line budget number, and then they have bills pursuant to that top-line number. Now, Kevin McCarthy's problem is he made multiple contradictory promises to different groups of people. He promised House conservatives one number, then he went and made a deal with Joe Biden at a different number, and then he told House appropriators to mark to a different number altogether. And so that has created the confusion that drove us to this moment. Now, we will have to deal with that and why our leadership put us in that position. But the answer isn't to revert to the muscle memory of continuing resolutions. The answer is to do what we're endeavoring upon this week. Put 4 individual bills on the floor. Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, Department of Agriculture, State and Foreign Ops. It's about 73% of the discretionary budget. And I don't like the fact that there might be a shutdown over the weekend or for a few days as we try to get the rest of the work completed. But I think that's what it's going to take.
Look, I get it, but this isn't a test in law school. They're never going to get through the Senate, and we're going to have a shutdown, and then everybody loses except maybe your faction by making McCarthy look bad. But you know all the different things that happen in a shutdown. You know that there's only one rating agency left that hasn't punished the American borrowing mechanisms for the last 2 shutdowns, right? One was a debt ceiling issue, and the one before it was a shutdown. You are essentially saying, I don't like how we do it, so I'm going to do something bad, too. I get why you want to make it better, but a shutdown doesn't make it better, Matt.
No, I'm trying to force discipline upon a process that has been broken since I have been in high school. And I think the only way to force that discipline is to engage the negotiation on the terms of the individual bills, not as one up or down proposition. I get that in divided government, we've got to negotiate with the Senate. Matter of fact, we've already passed our bill to fund veterans programs. The Senate ought to provide their competing vision, and let's go and discuss the differences and disagreements, and we'll win some and lose some. At the end of the day, I think everybody wants to fund our veterans. But what I don't think we ought to do is allow programmatic review to be illusory because we purposefully engage a system where no one in this town has been responsible for spending for the better part of half a century. That is not the way to run a country. And I think the reason that Fitch downgraded us, if you really look at the analysis, is because we're sitting on $33 trillion in debt and we're about to run $2 trillion annual deficits. Look, it might be tough to endure a few days of shutdown, but what do you think the future looks like if we continue to accrue these deficits and build this level of debt? It's going to zap the dollar.
It's not just it's not the few days. Well, first of all, a lot of things there, right? This is a complex situation. There's no single factor solution to it. However, you guys are worried about the dollar being devalued. That's going to happen if our rating goes down, which is almost certain if we have a shutdown. And yes,
it's absolutely certain if we keep spending money like this.
But the people who get hurt, Matt Gaetz, are the people who you're saying you're trying to help. See, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if nothing else, at least the bill about the military fine, add to it that you don't get paid, that members of Congress don't get paid during the shutdown. You're the guys causing the trouble.
By the way, I'm sending notice tomorrow to the clerk of the House to withhold my paycheck during any day of a shutdown, because I agree with you. We should not be getting paid while there's a shutdown. So I'll be as I've done it during every shutdown, by the way. Every shutdown, I've told them to withhold my pay because we should be under pressure too. But under pressure to do what? Like, you have a sophisticated audience here. I don't think the audience really believes that one continuing resolution is going to all of a sudden unlock and liberate a deliberative appropriations process, right? The only way to stop governing by continuing resolution is to stop governing by continuing resolution. And the way to do that is to break the fever now, to force the bipartisan negotiations with the Senate that will be necessary, but to do it in a way that at least gives us some shot to put downward pressure on spending. Like, I want to vote on taking the Ukraine money out of the defense bill. I want to vote to deauthorize a lot of what CISA has done to engage in censorship in Homeland Security. Not every Republican agrees with those points of view, so we'll have some actual legislating going on. We'll present amendments, we'll debate them. The American people will see where their lawmakers stand. I think it'll be a good thing.
I'm with it, but can't you find a way? Can't you find a way to do the business of the people without punishing the people?
It really feels like we should have. And frankly, for the last 7 years, I think every member of Congress, myself included, owns this broken process. But in January of this year, I got commitments out of Speaker McCarthy that he was going to do this differently. He is in breach of those commitments. He's in breach of really large features of that deal. So he has to come into compliance with that deal. This appropriations process gives him an opportunity to do so. I hope we proceed on to these bills and we build some positive momentum towards single subject appropriations. That's what the country wants. And there's a reason why you haven't gotten it, because when they wait to the end and they engage in this brinksmanship talk, and you're repeating a lot of the brinksmanship talk now, then what that empowers are the lobbyists and the political action committee fundraisers to all get in a room together and decide what's in the final product.
Matt, I'm all for giving you a platform for your burn it down rhetoric in terms of changing the process.
It's not burn it down. It's how I want to build it up by funding it once at a time. But I'm just saying,
well, I'm saying you want to burn down how it's done and build it back in a better way. I get it, but hold on. Don't put it on me that I'm talking brinksmanship. You're causing the brinksmanship. I'm saying don't do brinksmanship. I believe it's irresponsible fiscally and politically. Yeah, but you were elected to do the job and do it better. And I'm just saying that it is fundamentally flawed for the people who put you in power to pay the price for you not getting the job done, or for you saying that you don't like how it's done. I'm with your grievance.
I'm with your grievance.
But why punish them? Look, I get it, but you're
Chris,
not helping the dollar by putting us in a place to have our credit rating lowered.
We have to stand in the way of that. We have to do everything we can to stop the greatest harm to the people. Which people do you think are going to be crushed when the world de-dollarizes, when the BRICS system takes off, when the African Union is no longer selling their minerals in the dollar, when Saudi Arabia and Iran are selling more of their energy in the yuan?
I mean, I think you're. I think we're not close to that. But hold on a second. Talking about brinksmanship talk, I don't think, and when I say I don't think, my research and talking to people who study our monetary policy and look at it as a commodity, they don't believe we're anywhere near that being about to happen in terms of extreme talk. But I'll still accept your premise. I'm just saying there has to be a way for you to get these things done, which I'm not differing with what you say you want. But how you go about it has to matter. But we'll see how it plays out. You are welcome here. To have a platform. I've been gone for a little bit. I'm back now. Your voice is welcome, and I look forward to having you here. I don't get the headphones, though.
Oh, yeah, my earpiece just went out right before the show, so I wanted to make sure I heard every one of your delightful questions.
I thought this was like the new.
You didn't even wear a shirt. What are you?
What
are you
I'm good.
Going with the John Fetterman dress code now, and you're sitting here ragging on me over the headphones?
Oh, now that hurts. That hurts, but no, I'm in East Palestine. I've been shooting all day. I literally ran to a SAT truck so I could do the show. We're out here trying to, trying to give these people a voice, and they're really scared.
I wish they. I wish we cared as much about them.
If you want something to get angry about, this is something.
No, it really is. I'm glad you're there.
For me,
I'll be looking forward to your piece.
I'd say care about all of them. Our hearts should be big enough. Congressman Gaetz, thank you for being on the show. Appreciate you. Take care of the people. Take care of the people who put you there, Congressman.
Amen. Thank you so much, Chris.